Okay, couple more rows, I think. And actually, we've got a couple of shorter rows, I do believe. Let's lift that up. We've got the block over there, and that's it. And there might be some down the bottom here that they didn't line up correctly. Well, there might not be. Okay, we did clear that out. So it occurs to me I could be doing this with a forage harvester with a pickup head. And I guess real world you would usually do that because it's cheap to have a bunch of carts and a couple of guys in come in with tractors to haul the grass, and the forage harvest just stays on the field unloading into the next tractor that turns up, or the next cart that turns up. And these loading wagons can be quite a little bit more expensive than just a straight tipping cart, and so it does cost. I probably you can't afford as many of these carts as I could afford the just straight tippers, and as such, I think most people don't use these. Although a forage harvester is quite expensive. People like Tom Bemberden just rent one to come in from a contractor. He'll come in, he'll lift the grass with his forage harvester. He'll bring a couple of guys with carts. Tom has a cart and he's got his own tractor, so it doesn't take them that long to do the job. Obviously it's taking me a long time to do this job because it's just me. Now, I'm looking up there. Oh my goodness, it's 11 o'clock already. No, it's coming up on 10 real time. Now I'm going to have to cut the stream short. We'll probably be going around about 11:30 because it's Christmas time and Christmas party time. We have a food event at the Model Railroad group. Then we have another food event at 5 o'clock this evening for the church choir, which means a small former foster child boy is looking forward to lots of food. His sister, who likes food more, doesn't want to come this week, so she's missing out on all the food. So, but because of that, we're going to have to call the stream shorter than usual today. Now, next week will be, it's the 14th today, yes. Next week is the 21st, which is day after my birthday. And so, oh, I'm lining up on the wrong thing. We will be going out for a meal on Saturday afternoon. I have to check on restaurant times because some of the restaurants that we generally use for special occasions are open for lunch and then open for an evening session, but they're not open during the afternoon. So if you don't get there at 1:30, you're not going to be served. But if they are open Saturday afternoons, then that's not a problem. But it might mean, okay, instead, and I don't like driving in the dark, in the cold, so I would prefer it if we did on Saturday lunch-ish time rather than Saturday night time, when there's potential that the roads will freeze, and there has been a lot of accidents this last week. We didn't go to church this week on Wednesday, mostly because everybody was sick, but also in part because it snowed probably about 2 inches and was freezing. Now, the highways were all clear. It's just that we have to travel about 1.5 miles, 2 miles to get to the highway at this end. And at the other end, the church is off of a country lane, which isn't going to get cleared until maybe 36-48 hours after a snow event. So that's the first problem. Well, we didn't go, and a couple of people that did go were actually told by the police to drive back to the previous on-ramp and basically head up the highway on the wrong side, because there was a huge accident that was blocking the highway. So yeah, good job we didn't go. I'm getting old that I just don't like frigid, cold, freezing weather. Or, yeah, frigid, cold, freezing temperatures, should I say. It doesn't, the weather has nothing to do with it. But if the road is wet and it's 14 degrees, I'm not going, because I'm old and my driving skills are not what they used to be. And I just don't relish the idea of trying to control a vehicle that's out of control, because my reaction times are just not there anymore. So that's the thing, which annoys teenage Osa, because she's like, oh, we can go to church, look, it's not snowing, therefore it's okay to go to church. It's like, no, the ground is wet, it's 14 degrees out there, and while Mrs. Osa has got some high traction tyres on the car, or on the van, that doesn't mean that we're not going to skid off the road into a tree and all die, so we're not going. Like, I want to meet Jesus, but I'm not in that much of a hurry to do so. Oh, well, I want to see my friends. Well, tough. You'll see them, just not this week. But yeah, that means that, you know, tonight we've got the choir food event. I'm kind of not comfortable driving in that. And I'm not sure Mrs. Osa's particularly comfortable either. But we haven't really been out much of anything this winter. We were supposed to, or we were invited, wasn't supposed to, we were invited to go and spend Friday after Thanksgiving with teenage Osa's biological brother, who's like 7, I think, and his adoptive family. And it snowed overnight on Thanksgiving, so it's like, yeah, we're not driving out there. Especially not since the snow was to our west, and that's where they live. It was like, yeah, we don't want to chance it. And there were accidents that day, the road closures and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, we're not. Thanks for the invite, but we're not really into that. So we're going to reschedule that, or I think that has been rescheduled for maybe when the snows go away. So springtime, which I believe is the brother's birthday and teenage Osa's birthday are all in March. So there's a good chance that that will happen. I am not seeing which one of these is emptying. Now, reversing physics on these is... I don't think it's as realistic as reversing physics on Truck Sim. Okay, that's good. So, the stuff is filled up again. That's all done. We do have an end row to do. This is looking pretty good for just running the rows after this. At least on this side. We're going to have to check on the other end, of course. Now the other thing that's changed, my personal Discord, I do not have a Discord channel yet. I just have a profile set up on Discord. I should try and set that up if I get some time over winter. But my personal Discord account and my Twitch account and my YouTube account now all run a brand new logo. Designed by someone whose name I can't pronounce. So we've moved on from the Farm Sim 17 screenshot of a class Axion 940, maybe 960. Mod by CMT Software from Farm Sim 17. He said he'd also like to do a banner as well for the pages, but I said let's get through winter, do Christmas, and then we can talk about that in the new year. So we may get some updated graphics on all of my channels in the new year. Then I have to figure out the Discord thing and a bunch of other stuff. Then what? Then, yeah. Then we keep streaming tractors. And we're doing 36. Now that I've cleared these 4 fields, I can bring out the sprayer. We can spray these 4 fields. And that'll be good. Oh, we're nearly full again. I think last time we were in the silo, we had about 450,000 litres. So looks like we're going to end up with about just shy of 600 maybe. Which is fine. That's more than enough for the cows. The cows are really not going to eat that much. 49. And done. And driving over windrows doesn't hurt the windrow, we have discovered. Or at least we've discovered that for Farm Sim 25. Unfortunately, Giants 1.4 patch has come out for Farm Sim 25 and may have fixed that thing. As part of the problem, a lot of people, and me included, I will do, you know, when I get round to playing Farm Sim 25, I'll try things out just to see, you know, is that really how that works? How different are things and what have you? And you test things out. And I watch people like I can't remember there's a bunch of people who do Farm Sim for science. You know, what's the best crop? What's the most efficient crop? How much does it cost to fertilise a field with silage fertiliser versus liquid fertiliser? That type of thing. And the problem is every time there's a new patch, especially in the first month or two, all of the tests could be off. So, yeah, you do all the tests once and then you kind of have to do them again just to see if what you announced in your first test results is still actually what the results are today. The one I usually quote was I can't remember if it was Farm Sim 19 or Farm Sim 25, but Giants did base the wear and tear, so the rate this goes down by how clean the tractor was or the piece of equipment was. So if you don't bother to clean your equipment, it will wear out quicker, which is kind of okay. Yeah, I can see that. You know, you're not cleaning your equipment, it's going to rust quicker, it's you're going to gum up the works, you need to make sure that things are cleaned off. But then again, you've got to make sure that they're dry, nothing leaks, because the last thing you need is high pressure water blasted into oil reservoirs or grease reservoirs, causing issues that way. But you know, the concept is, if you keep your equipment clean, it'll wear out slower. The problem is what they found is a lot of people who played Farm Sim just turned off dirt because that was an option. So you could have dirt off standard or high, and the more dirt you played with, the faster your equipment wore out, so you had to clean it more frequently. And then if you turned it off completely, it's like, well, your equipment never needs maintenance. And they said no, it's like, we don't mind you messing with the rate independently as a mod. You know, I can select a mod and then just say wear and tear is still going to happen. It's just I can reduce it from the game setting to 25% of the game setting. So my equipment, rather than being, you know, I buy it, I run it for 50 hours, which quite frankly isn't very long, before it just gets to the point where it gets prohibitively expensive to keep repairing. Now we don't have, on this playthrough, I don't have a mod that reduces the wear and tear. I have a mod that if you pay money, then you can reset some of the wear and tear formula and give your equipment a bit more of a lease of life. It's still wearing down. You still run it to 50%, but doing a service on a piece of equipment is cheaper than selling it and buying a new piece of equipment, because otherwise, I mean, on some of these tractors I'd be buying a new one every 6 months. This tractor has 95 hours on it, which means it's twice as old as the game is rigged to allow pieces of equipment to get to. But it runs like it's, probably runs like it's 40 years old. I might have to check on this one. It might be due a service. And then once we've serviced it, that'll reset part of the formula, not all of the formula, because there's still the age of the equipment. So if this tractor's 36 months old, it doesn't reset that part of the wear and tear formula, but it does reset number of hours used back to 0 when you do a service. But it's like you have to pay for it. It's not free. And so, you know, the idea is you're still paying to maintain the equipment, which is, it's a built-in money sink. So you're not just, I make money, I grow stuff, I sell stuff, I make more money, I buy new equipment, I buy more fields, and you're just constantly expanding. It's a limitation on the rate you can expand. So I'm thinking potentially we might have one more trailer load, and then we'll be done. So that's good. And wheel well time is 10:15, so we've got maybe another hour.
Hi again.
Hi again. And looks like we'll be up to about 600,000 litres all told. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to compact this. I haven't really spread it out very well, and I might have to do it manually, especially if I do that. Idea. But yeah, also not sure what I'm going to do for next season. Is it time to do a European farm, or is it time to do an American farm? I haven't done much in the way of US farms in Farming Simulator, even personal farms. I tend to get through the harvest and maybe plant a field or two and then say, you know what, I'm not feeling this map, I need to move to something different, at which point it's like, okay. English maps, if I find one I like playing, I can play it for the long term. I mean, even Calmsden, Calmsden was an awesome map, and there was an Oxygen David map that started with M. Very, you know, you drive around the map, I'm in England. It feels like I'm in England. Much like the Old Stream Farm, I feel like I'm in France. Somewhere to the south, maybe closer to the mountains, but it's sort of rural France. And that's what the map feels like. But I don't know, I found Calmsden didn't really grab my imagination. I think in part because it's quite a small map. Whereas the old, what's it? What was the one we played? Oakfield Farm. There's a huge sprawling map, lovely map. Loved playing on that map, but it's